John, when people pick an Undercounter ice machine, they usually think the hard part is over. They pick the finish, the size, maybe even the brand. But one thing most people don't ask about is the ice itself, and that can lead to reviews like this one.
Yeah, I mean, here we go, right? This is exactly where it breaks. And when I say that, I don't mean the machine. I'm talking about the expectation, right? Because when a customer spends, what, $4,000 on a dedicated ice maker, the assumption is they're going to get crystal clear, restaurant grade ice every time, every batch. But the part that nobody really explains is that, clarity isn't a feature. It's more of a consequence, right? And unless you build a system around it, you're not going to get it. And here's why, right? Clear ice requires directional freezing, layer by layer, pushing the air and the minerals to one of the edges so that it doesn't get trapped inside. But most machines in that price range aren't actually doing that. They're using a bottom-up approach, or they might even be using a multi-point freeze plate because they're faster and they're cheaper. But they also trap gas. And if the water isn't filtered, well, that's going to be even worse, because now you've got minerals and chlorine and gas bubbles that are locked into your cubes, and that's what forms the cloud. And when the ice hits the glass, we all know it melts super fast because all that trapped air increases the surface melt rate. And that brings us to shape, right? If we talk about shape, because honestly, even if the ice is clear and you did get everything that we just talked about, the wrong shape's going to ruin the experience for you too, because melt rate is driven by surface area. So if you bought a nugget ice machine, that is a super fast chill, but it melts 2 to 3 times faster than a solid cube can. And if you have crescent ice like we just described, I mean, I always say that that's for stacking, not lasting, because we've all had the refrigerator that creates crescent ice that you have to stack it up super high in your glass because you know it's going to melt super fast. And then you have gourmet cubes of any size or shape or anything like that, but though that we know is going to be a much slower melt and much greater clarity. The issue with those is sometimes they can be too large for some glassware, and they can actually jam up scoops and dispensers from time to time, but it's far and away the best in terms of melt rate. And the kicker here is most of these machines that are out there, they only make one shape, right? And you're stuck with it. So if the buyer chooses based on looks, or a builder spec'd it wrong when it went in, if the customer serves higher end cocktails, or maybe they want chewable ice in a house full of scotch drinkers, that's not the machine's fault. That's really a category level failure at that point, right? They're getting the wrong performance from the wrong cube, and it will fail silently for months before anybody really realizes it, right? I mean, they're going to notice that the ice is melting too fast. They're going to notice that the bin is always wet, and they're going to notice that the drinks just don't taste right. And eventually they're going to start blaming that machine when really the wrong ice for the wrong job was chosen.